Okay, so here is a basic idea for an execute. Some executes A, B, not always perfect. Um, but they're not always perfect, but yeah, they're there. So this one has two variations basically. There's a couple smokes that you can choose to throw or not. First smoke that you should throw is basic, very basic. You don't necessarily need to know the perfect lineup for this. It's useful. There, blah, there it's on stairs. That's the easy one. Next, you got next this one I came up with myself. It only works 128 tick, by the way, so as you can see, my FPS is fantastic. That's what I normally do. Get right here, and you aim right here. Jump throw. I messed that up. And that should get you a nice smoke. Back in the Xbox. Generally, you want to throw it a little more to the left, a little more to the right of it. Meant to put them in, get the jump throw as good as possible. Because if you get as good as possible, you get that, like something like that. It's beautiful smoke. Yeah. So there's two, and the next one that you should know is this is one of the optional ones because there's another way. You can do this. Go here, a little up here, and this stops the guy from there. However, it's pretty good. However, this is not, there's another way to do this, and this is because that's not particularly helpful if someone's, it can be helpful because normally they will not think someone is going to be going cat, but if someone is, someone's going connector, but if someone is going connector, you might want to throw that just because to throw them off, but like, if someone's watching connector or mid, which they probably will be, if someone's going to come there, you might just want to throw this instead. Someone's mid, you line up here, go right up here, again, this 128, jump throw. And what this does, and this gets you a nice perfect smoke. Oh, that was a little off actually. Weird. Let me rethrow that. Yeah, I don't know why I took a weird bounce. Anyway, this gives you a nice perfect smoke down there, and that blocks off anyone connector. And that's the one. And then finally, there's this one. There's one you go. I'm not super familiar with this one, to be honest. If there's actually a couple ways I found doing it. One of them, if I remember correctly, was like something like this. Like that. See that smoke? It's basically that. A little more to the side. Mess that up. Mess that up too. Yeah, it's a bit finicky. So it works as a lineup, but it's a bit of a crappy lineup. So I found a better way to do it, although that I did not come up with, which is like that or something basically. Yeah, which is that. That works a bit better. But either way, so the things that you choose to throw is firstly that smoke, because that smoke the back smoke. You don't always need to throw the smoke back here because normally if you have the smoke here and when you're at for example Tetris, you just molly like your riff, just molly here. Make sure he doesn't peek out or anything because you're not normally be swinging back there. You don't always have to see it, but however, if there's somebody going palace, you always want to throw the smoke back here. So this one is optional sometimes. The other one's the one I showed you. You generally shouldn't throw both of these, but if you want, throw smoke here, throw smoke here, and here. Generally want to pick between one of those two. So in general, you will have, there's 4 smokes, 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, if you really want to. Or you could do another smoke. This is which means that you probably would not be throwing the smoke back there. You'd just be throwing the normal smoke here. But you'd throw, you just something like that. I don't know exactly how you do it, but it's you can decide all it. So in general, there's gonna be like basically 3 lineups. You can choose either smoke here, both. So we could say smoke off jungle. So we could say we could do EA execute, smoke jungle, and smoke both CT and smoke C and smoke jungle and smoke CT. And for example, that would mean that we would not have smokes here, not have smoke there, for example, or it could do smoke beyond stairs and smoke here, or we could just do basically these 3 smokes are smokes that we can change up, and I'll just probably say if we should, and they also depend. Firstly, if to someone's palace, you don't need to throw back this smoke to somebody's palace, and secondly, if you want to cut off this rotation, ideally both, but like especially if they're pushing. But if someone's pushing here, it's oftentimes better to not throw this one so they'd have a clear view into the site. Or conversely, if you know if there's somebody who's playing aggressively down here, you throw them this way. You might want to throw it so they don't get their things cut off. But yeah, they generally just call out which one of those smokes you don't throw or you want to throw. And so yeah, after you have those smokes, it's just gonna be basic. One person coming into the palace. They might want to molly up top here, throw something up top here. But yeah, either way that happens. Grenade. That wasn't a very good one, but you know. The ideal thing about an 8 is you want it to be visible for not as long as possible, so it's kind of hard in Mirage, and this in a Mirage to be really subtle here. But, you know, you just flash, and we have somebody molly back there. We have somebody molly down there. I'm getting a lot more FPS drops than normal. This is actually weird. Maybe it should be all nades, I'm sorry. My FPS is not this bad. Like, my FPS is like 30 FPS, which is bad, but like not like 15. I'm not sure why. But yeah. Molly there. Another molly you probably want to do is Firebox, but you can just estimate. So yeah, in order you should have 4 or 5 smokes, which I've outlined, and you should have these 3 mollies to stop people from peeking here, here, here. And so yeah, that's the execute A. That might not be incredibly clearly explained. I'll explain later if you would like to talk to me about it. I can probably do a better job explaining. But yeah, so smokes. One smoke here. Booked previous for box. A smoke here for CT. You know, up and through. Bad at this. I'm actually not lined up correctly, that's why I'm just a little easily. Yeah, smoke here for CT. Smoke here for the that's actually badly done. Smoke back there for, you know, the whatchamacallit, connector or whatever you call it. Probably should decide a name for that. Smoke back here if you just want to do back there. You can also actually do it from there. Either one works. This is just the one I found. And as I said, you smoke between the, I forget what the name is for between these boxes, but the last smoke is from there. Yeah, and so that's the execute explained incredibly badly. One second, I'll just do less smoke. It's just something like that. Yeah, it's easy smoke. But yeah, those are all the possible smokes. For B, I know there are a couple of window smokes. However, I won't be going over those because I'm just gonna be doing executes. These are just gonna be like site executes. I know there's like some way of doing it. Not 100% sure what it is beyond, But I know, the basic thing is you just want to bounce it off here. I can't do it. Just something like that. And then there are ways to actually smoke it. I forget. I think I saw something. But just one thing that's actually useful when you're flashing mid, you don't want to just do it like this, as you know. I suggest doing it like that because that's what this is for. Just because this, if you get it at the right angle, sometimes hard. This means this is only visible pretty briefly. So, as a result, it's not easy to see. He's like that, like you can easily see it, but like this, it's a little bit of that bounce. The issue is, of course, it's not always easy to get it correctly. Like it's sometimes you just want to make sure they actually see it, so sometimes it might just be better to do like that. But doing like that is actually like an ideal flash because you don't see it until it's going in front of you. Anyways, it's just a useless trick. Yeah, you probably know already, but yeah. So B execute is slightly harder because because smokes on here they're hard to throw in general because they're kind of weird. But anyways, so what you want to do, the first one, you stay here, you slide a little to the side. That's cool, and then you aim right up here. Just want to make sure it doesn't get it. And you get that. And that perfectly blocks off that. So there are other ways to do it. If you want, you can do 2 smokes if you don't. But if you want to make sure, just isolate. If there are other ways, if you really want to, you can probably just do like, yes, like that. That's badly done. But you get the idea, like that, and like throw a smoke back there if you want to make sure no one is. If you think someone's there and you want to isolate them. However, I would. That's up to you, to be honest. So you can choose either that, or you could just that, and I think there's a way to do it in like that. I did it badly, but you don't really, I can line up service into that hard. But yeah, that's the first one. Second one is, in the execute, is this. Aim right here, up there, aim right here. Missed, I'm an idiot. Throw. And this makes it hard for anyone watching market in that window. Normally, you're not going to be taking, that's a pretty passive angle to be taking, but useful just the same. Yeah, you'll be throwing that. Another thing you might want to throw, something like that. Blocks off vision. It's normally not going to be perfect smoke. That's okay. And the last things you want to do, obviously you want to molly here. Everyone knows that. But another thing, if you get the molly right, you can molly back there, molly and yeah. But even if you don't, throw the smoke, you do normally want something like that just to make sure. So there are really 2 options. You can also do something like that, really, to stop the push from CAD. There are many options there, but either way, it's that. It's one of the many options for CAD, either back there, as the lineup I showed you, or just throw 2 right here. Throw that smoke for CT. For the market window, you just throw the smoke to make sure no one's pushing through here, and you molly off there. And this means that basically no one they don't have any clear view from this entire area. You, this is blocked off. This is blocked off. This should be blocked off. The only people is someone's hiding van, which should be mollied all the time. This is molly, so he's going to be taking awkward angles, so most of your fights are going to be back here. They're not going to be, so you're going to be able to hopefully plant in the smoke, or at least make it easier on yourself to play around. And so yeah, those are the two executes. Those are probably fairly badly explained, as I said, but yeah, I'm just going to go over these one more time because they did for A. Joop, joop, joop. And go to right. Joop. Blah. Or you could just bounce it off. Those two for the cat smokes. And you want to molly there. You could also smoke it if you really wanted to. But considering you're already using at minimum 4 smokes, I wouldn't really do that. Also, mollying is kind of weird. Yeah, bounce it off there or whatever, and then finally that, or if you really want to get get a far, which you normally probably should, like that even. It's not a perfect angle, especially because like right here, there's absolutely a gap, and you should be aware of that. But so probably don't want to do it like that. But either way, yeah, I've been looking. There doesn't seem to be many easy lineups. I'm trying to get some that just molly like back here. Like for example, if you ideally you want to molly back there, mulling smoking there isn't that hard, and then smoking there, and that would basically mean they would have to take a fight here, but don't have a ton of progress, so I'll find out. This is just kind of basic stuff. So yeah, this is what I have. And yeah, this is me looking up a couple of smokes that I knew already. I should